Hello students, a very warm welcome to Oliveboard. Namaskar. So this is Rohan Dange welcoming you on board once again for a session on our current affairs. This is a initiative which we have taken to give you a first hand information or to give you a first hand practice of how to solve MCQs. So this is a live session which we generally use to interact with you. In this live session, I also ask students to give their inputs and their answers. So today we will be starting with the fifth lecture for the weekly MCQs, if I'm not wrong. Uh, Today's topic is rural development. Although rural development is not explicitly mentioned in RBI Grade B syllabus, but we have seen in the previous year's papers that a lot of questions have been asked from the same topic, precisely because rural development is a separate chapter in 11th class NCRT for economy, right? So a lot of questions are straight away lifted from there. So if you have read the 11th class NCRT for economy, then you would be in a good position to answer today's questions. Okay, so this is me, Rohan Dange, welcoming you again on board for a fruitful session and a high octane session on weekly MCQs. So let's start with rural development without much of a further ado. Okay, so the first question: rural development essentially focuses on action for the development of areas that are lagging behind in the overall development of the village economy. In this regard, which of the following are areas that need fresh initiatives for development in India? Such concept-based questions could be asked as a one marker in phase two. In phase one, you may not expect a lot of questions on on these lines, but in what you can say phase two, definitely such questions could be asked. So again, I will repeat the question. Rural development essentially focuses on action for the development of areas that are lagging behind in the overall development of the village economy. In this regard, which of the following are areas that need fresh initiatives for development in India? Option A, development of human resources, especially through education and healthcare. Option B, land reforms. Option C, infrastructure development. Option D, poverty alleviation. What do you think is the correct answer? All the options seem to be very close, but if you think precisely, if you have clarity of thought, you can definitely answer. Rural development essentially focuses on action for the development of areas that are lagging behind in the overall development of the village economy. In this regard, which of the following are the areas that need fresh initiatives for the development in India? Option A, development of human resources, especially through education and healthcare. Option B, land reforms. Option C, infrastructure development. Option D, poverty alleviation. So I'll give you about 10 seconds to answer. Come on, boys and girls, you can easily answer such questions. This is right up your alley. Think straight, you will get the answer. So anyways, let's see what's the correct answer for this. The correct answer is D, poverty alleviation. See, the first issue, the first problem with rural India is poverty. Never forget that. Is always poverty, right? Infrastructural development comes much later, land reforms come much later, development of human resources through education and healthcare is a priority, but the first priority is always going to be poverty eradication or poverty alleviation. And therefore, since the first or the second 5 year plan in India, the government of India has precisely focused upon poverty eradication or poverty alleviation. A lot of programs like Garibi Hatao Andolan, or even Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, or the Deen Dayal Upadhyay Antyodaya Anna Yojana, or the National Rural Livelihood Mission. All of these and a plethora of other such schemes have been initiated by the government of India for the alleviation of poverty in the country, right? So of course, other areas are also present a fresh set of challenges, but it is poverty eradication which is of utmost importance, right? Special measures for alleviation of poverty and bringing about significant improvement in the living conditions of the weaker sections of the population, emphasizing access to productive employment opportunities. See, once you eradicate poverty, then you can think about having productive employment opportunities. Okay, so the first ladder or the first step towards any kind of development in the rural areas is poverty alleviation. Moving on to the next question, which of the following are the reasons that impede rural development? First, decline in public investment. Second, inadequate infrastructure. Third, lack of alternate employment opportunities in the industry or service sector. Fourth, increasing casualization of employment. Again, I will repeat, which of the following are reasons that impede rural development? First, decline in public investment. Second, inadequate infrastructure. Third, lack of alternate employment opportunities in the industry or service sector. Fourth, increasing casualization of employment. Options are A, 3 and 4, B, none of the above, C, 2, 3 and 4, and D, all of the above. What do you think is the correct answer, boys and girls? I'll wait for about 10 seconds for you to give the answer. Which of the following areas are the reasons that impede? Impede means prevent. Are the reasons that prevent rural development in India: decline in public investment, inadequate infrastructure, lack of alternate employment opportunities in the industrial service sector. Fourth, increasing casualization of employment. Option A, 3 and 4. Option B, none of the above. Option C, 2, 3 and 4. And option D, all of the above. What do you think is the correct answer, boys and girls? I'll wait for another 5 seconds to give the answer, for you to give the answer. This is a typical question which could be asked even as a 2 marker. So such easy 2 markers are also asked in the exam. Don't be under the impression that only tough questions are asked as 2 markers in grade B phase 2. Okay. So let's see what's the correct answer for this. The correct answer is D, all of the above. Right? Decline in public investment. Public investment means what? Government investment. So the government investment in rural areas has declined since independence, right? In proportion of GDP. In absolute terms, it may have increased, but in terms of GDP, it has declined. Second is inadequate infrastructure. Obviously, education infrastructure or healthcare infrastructure, even physical infrastructure for electricity is largely missing in rural India. And that is one of the reasons that impedes rural development. Lack of alternate employment opportunities in the industrial service sector. Why alternate employment? Because the primary source of employment in rural areas is agriculture and agricultural allied activities. Correct? So most of the people are magnetized and attracted towards these sources of employment which are provided by agriculture. But there should be, ideally, there should be alternate employment opportunities which is provided by industry or the service sector, which is conspicuous by its absence in the rural areas. Increasing casualization of employment. Of course, there is increasing casualization of employment, right? Why? Is because employment in rural areas is mostly found or is mostly seen in the disorganized sector or the unorganized sector, right? What we want is employment generation in the organized sector, right? So this is something that we want. Okay, so the answer is D, all of the above. Okay, so in the explanation, what we see is that after the initiation of reforms, which reforms are we talking about? The reforms of 1991, LPG, liberalization, privatization, and globalization, right? Which happened after the BOP crisis, the balance of payment crisis. So after the initiation of reforms, the growth rate of agricultural sector decelerated. Okay, not accelerated, but decelerated to 2.3% per annum during the 1990s, which was lower than the earlier years. So scholars have identified the decline in public investment since 1991 as the major reason for this. They also argue that adequate infrastructure, lack of alternate employment opportunities in the industrial service sector, increasing casualization of employment have further impeded rural development. So this is what your NCRT says. So I hope you are making your notes out of this. Fairly easy question, but could be asked as a 2 marker in the exam. Okay, and I'm giving you detailed explanations because once you take down these explanations, what you can do is you can use them in writing essays also for RBI grade B phase 2. An essay is a make or break paper in RBI grade B, which has equal weightage with ESI and FM also, right? Question number 3. which of the following statements are correct regarding credit in rural areas? Credit का मतलब क्या होता है? Credit means loans. So which of the following statements are correct regarding credit in rural areas? Again, a question which could be asked as a 2 marker in phase 2. Statement number 1, the institutional structure of rural banking today is a multi-agency one. Statement number 2, NABARD is the apex body to coordinate the activities of all institutions involving the rural financing system. Statement number 3, the Green Revolution led to the diversification of the portfolio of rural credit towards production oriented lending. Statement number 4, formal credit delivery mechanism was a huge hit in the rural areas. So, which of these statements are correct regarding credit in rural areas? I'll give you another 10 seconds. This is a, what you can say, a question which will push you to think. This is a question which will push your mental faculties. So exercise your gray matter and come out with the correct answer. I'll wait for another 10 seconds for you to give the correct answer. Statement number 1, the institutional structure of rural banking today is a multi-agency one. Statement number 2, NABARD is the apex body to coordinate the activities of all institutions involved in rural financing system. Statement number 3, the Green Revolution led to the diversification of the portfolio of rural credit towards production oriented lending. And option number 4 or statement number 4, formal credit delivery mechanism was a huge hit in rural areas. What do you think is the correct answer? Option A 1, 2 and 3, option B 2, 3 and 4, option C all of the above, option D none of the above. Which of the statements are correct regarding credit in rural areas? So let's take a look at the answer. The answer is A 1, 2 and 3. Let me put some more light, shed some more light on these statements. The institutional structure of rural banking today is a multi-agency one. Institutional structure means the formal structure. So in the formal structure of rural banking, we have the scheduled commercial banks, we have the regional rural banks, we have the microfinance institutions, we have the self-help groups. So of course it's a multi-agency one, right? Statement number 2, NABARD is the apex body to coordinate the activities of all institutions involved in the rural financing system. Of course, it is correct. NABARD is the apex regulatory body and the monitoring agency which coordinates, regulates, monitors, superintends, guides the activities of all institutions involved in rural financing system. So that's your key takeaway. These key takeaways are important because they will help you in cracking your questions in phase 1 and phase 2. The third key takeaway is that the Green Revolution led to the diversification of the portfolio of rural credit towards production oriented lending, right? इसका क्या मतलब हुआ? अगर आपका प्रोडक्शन ज्यादा है तो आपको लेंडिंग भी ज्यादा होगा, राइट? और इफ अगर आपको लेंडिंग हो रहा है तो शायद एक कंडीशन भी हो सकती है दैट फॉर अ पर्टिकुलर अमाउंट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन ओनली यू विल बी लेंट सम मनी, राइट? सो प्रोडक्शन ओरिएंटेड लेंडिंग होने लगी. व्हाई? बिकॉज इट लेड टू द मोर डाइवर्सिफिकेशन, करेक्ट? Fourth, formal credit delivery mechanism was a huge hit in rural areas. Incorrect. Formal credit delivery mechanism matlab when you provide loans through scheduled commercial banks, regional rural banks, microfinance institutions. But today also what we see is that in rural areas, it is not the micro lending institutions or the banking structure, but it is the money lenders, the typical and the traditional money lender who ends up giving more loans in the rural areas. Why? Because the farmers and the people employed in the agrarian sector are more comfortable with the traditional money lender of the society, right? And therefore, and of course, they have a huge paranoia regarding paperwork when they have to visit these organized institutions, right? So option number 4 is incorrect. Therefore option number A is correct. 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so a key takeaway here, a major change occurred after 1969 when India adopted social banking and multi-agency approach to adequately meet the demands of rural credit. Later, the National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development was set up in 1982 as an apex body to coordinate the activities of all institutions involved in rural financing, right? So this is a major key takeaway from this. Okay, everything else I have already explained. Okay. So at this juncture, I would like you to, my humble request to all of you is to whoever is watching this session, start answering the questions, because see, unless you are not bold enough, you have to be bold enough to answer the questions. If you boldly answer, if you think and you answer, if you take this exercise seriously, it is going to help you, and your score in the examination will improve by leaps and bounds. This is what we have learned and experienced from our previous experiences, and that is what I'm trying to demonstrate here. So boys and girls and aspirants, I wish all of you best of luck for the future questions. Please try and answer them. Question number 4. Which of the following statements are correct regarding the SHGs? That is, SHG stands for self-help groups. So which of the following statements are correct regarding the SHGs? First, they promote thrift among rural communities. Thrift means being stingy, right? Being very careful and being very prudent about expenditure. Second, they are examples of microcredit programs. Third, the borrowings under SHGs are mainly for agricultural purposes. Fourth, they have helped in women empowerment. What do you think is the correct answer? Option A, 1, 2, and 4. Option B, 1, 3, and 4. Option C, 1 and 4. Option D, all of the above. Which of the following statements are correct regarding self-help groups? They promote thrift among rural communities. They are examples of microcredit programs. Third, the borrowings under SHGs are mainly for agricultural purposes. Fourth, they have helped in women empowerment. What do you think is the correct answer? A, 1, 2, and 4. B, 1, 3, and 4. C, 1 and 4 only. D, all of the above. What do you think is the correct answer, boys and girls? I'll wait for another 10 seconds for you to give the correct answer. A, 1, 2, and 4. B, 1, 3, and 4. C, 1 and 4 only. D, all of the above. So please answer. Which of the following statements are correct regarding the SHGs? So let's take a look at the answer. The answer is B, 1, 3, and 4. Of course, the SHGs, they promote intelligent expenditure, prudent expenditure amongst rural communities, and they discourage wasteful expenditure or wasteful utilization of funds. They are examples of microcredit programs? No. The borrowings under SHGs are mainly for agricultural purposes? Of course, yes. Because when you talk about rural areas are the repository of an agrarian economy. They have helped in women empowerment. Yes, they have helped in women empowerment. Right. So basically the answer is B, 1, 3, and 4. Okay. Let's move on. What does Kudumbashri refer to? Option number A, it is a land development bank. Option number B, it is a regional rural bank. Option number C, it is a thrift and credit society. Option number D, it is a women's health facility. What does Kudumbashri refer to? It is a land development bank. It is a rural development bank. It is a thrift and credit society. It is a women's health facility. Yes, what do you think is the correct answer? What does Kudumbashri refer to? It is a land development bank. It is a regional rural bank. It is a thrift and credit society. It is a women's health facility. What do you think is the correct answer? A, B, C, and D. Let's see the correct answer. The correct answer is C. It is a thrift and credit society. Okay. So basically, Kudumbashri is a woman-oriented community-based poverty reduction program which was implemented in Kerala. So see, this is your key takeaway. In 1995, a thrift and credit society was started as small saving bank for poor women with the objective to encourage savings, right? So the Thrift and Credit Society mobilized rupees 1 crore as a thrift saving. And these societies have been acclaimed as the largest informal banks in Asia in terms of participation and savings mobilized. Okay. So this is what you understand by Kudumbashri. It is a thrift and credit society. Question number 6. Which of the following are the reasons behind the decline in promotion and expansion of rural banking after economic reforms? A typical 2 marker which could be asked in RBI grade B phase 2. Which of the following are the reasons behind the decline in promotion and expansion of rural banking after the economic reforms? First, chronically high rates of agriculture loan defaults. Second, chronic underperformance of formal credit institutions. Third, failure to develop a culture of deposit mobilization among the rural citizens. Options are A 2 and 3, B 1 and 3, C none of the above, D all of the above. Please give the answer. Which of the following are the reasons behind the decline in promotion and expansion of rural banking after the economic reforms? First, chronically high rates of agricultural loan defaults. Second, chronic underperformance of formal credit institutions. Third, failure to develop a culture of deposit mobilization amongst the rural citizens. Options are option A 2 and 3, option B 1 and 3, option C none of the above, option D all of the above. I'll wait for another 10 seconds for you to give the correct answer. So the correct answer is D all of the above. Which of the so these are all the reasons behind the decline in promotion and expansion of rural banking after economic reforms. Chronically high rates of agricultural loan defaults. लोन डिफॉल्ट बहुत होने लग गए, राइट? लोन डिफॉल्ट मतलब आपने लोन ले लिया but you are not paying back on it. So because of that, in the agricultural sector, many people were not paying back, right? That led to basically the decline in promotion and expansion of rural banking. Then chronic underperformance of formal credit institutions. They were also not making profits. Basically, the rural banking scenario was such that these rural banks were not making many profits, right? Therefore their expansion had become a problem. When do banks expand? Banks will typically expand when they are making more profits, right? And the third is failure to develop a culture of deposit mobilization among the rural citizens, right? Deposit mobilization matlab there is a tendency in rural areas to save physical cash, right? They do not want to save their cash in deposits. So this deposit mobilization had become a big problem amongst the rural citizens. So the answer is D, all of the above. Okay. So agricultural loan defaults, according to the NCRT, have been chronically high, and many studies reveal that about 50% of the defaulters were categorized as willful defaulters, which is a threat to the smooth functioning of the banking system and needs to be controlled. However, all is not well with our banking system. This is largely because of the chronic underperformance of formal credit institutions and high incidence of overdue installments by the farmers, right? And with the possible exception of commercial banks, other formal institutions like regional rural banks and credit cooperative societies, they have failed to develop a culture of deposit mobilization. Okay. So question number 7. Which of the following were the steps taken by the government to regulate agriculture marketing post independence? Statement A 1. Regulation of markets to create orderly and transparent marketing conditions. Statement 2. Provision of physical infrastructure. Statement 3. Initiating and promoting cooperative marketing. Statement 4. Use of policy instruments like minimum support price, buffer stocks, etc. So, which of these are the steps taken by the government to regulate agriculture marketing post independence? Means after 1947. See, right now farm protests are going on in Delhi, right? A lot of farmers, in fact farmers in hordes, in lakhs, have descended upon the national capital from the states like Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, Western UP, and even states like Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, and Bihar. So right now there is a tussle going on between the central government and the farmers of this country, right? So minimum support price is in the news. So therefore such questions can be asked because these are high, but high, what you can say, relevant topics, and they can be asked in the exam. Anyways, so what is the correct answer? Which are the steps taken by the government to regulate agricultural marketing post independence? Let's take a look at the answer. The answer is D, all of the above. Regulation of markets to create orderly and transparent marketing conditions. So in some areas we had the APMC, if not in all the areas. APMC stands for Agricultural Produce and Marketing Committee. So the APMC Act was mostly brought into India in states like Punjab and Haryana. Provision of physical infrastructure means storage facilities. Who is providing these storage facilities? The Food Corporation of India, right? Third, initiating and promoting cooperative marketing, right? And fourth, use of policy instruments like MSP and buffer stocks. MSP stands for minimum support price. So all of the above, right? So the first step was the regulation of markets to create orderly and transparent marketing conditions. And by and large, this policy benefited the farmers as well as consumers. The second component is the provision of physical infrastructure like storage godowns, roads, railways, right, cold storage and processing units. The current infrastructure facilities are quite inadequate to meet the growing demand and they need to be improved. Cooperative marketing in realizing fair price for farmers' products is the third aspect of government initiative. Yeah, for sugarcane farmers, yeah, for rice farmers, there has to be a fair price policy so that they get their due, right? So a case in point here being the success of milk cooperatives, which have transformed the social and economic landscape of Gujarat, especially in Anand district, right? You must have heard about Amul, right? So Amul is based out of Anand district in Gujarat. And these milk cooperatives have now become beacons of example for various cooperatives which are sprouting across the country. The fourth element is the policy instruments like assurance of minimum support prices for 24 agricultural products. See, ये fluctuate होते रहता है, कभी it is 22, कभी it is 21, now it is 24, right? Then maintenance of buffer stocks of wheat and rice by the Food Corporation of India. And third, the distribution of food grains and sugar through PDS. PDS is what? Public Distribution System. So these instruments are also aimed at protecting the income of the farmers and providing food grains at a subsidized rate to the poor, right? So again, very, very important. This is the kind of conceptual and the foundational understanding which is expected from an RBI Grade B aspirant. Okay. Question number 8. Which of the following steps can be taken by the government to improve the scenario of agricultural marketing? First, promote efficient financial management of the cooperatives. Second, expand the role and participation of government agencies and consumer cooperatives in agricultural marketing. Third, invest in agro processing industries. And fourth, training and skill upgradation of farmers to improve their marketing ability. So I'll wait for 10 seconds for you to give the correct answer. Think about it and think about the correct answer. And if possible, you can also type it in the chat box so that I can interact with you. So which of the following steps can be taken by the government to improve the scenario of agricultural marketing? A. None of the above. B. 1, 2 and 3. C. 3 and 4. D. All of the above. So let's take a look at the answer. Answer is D. All of the above. Right. So what does the explanation say? Cooperatives may have received a setback during the recent past due to inadequate coverage of farmer members, right? Lack of appropriate link between marketing and processing cooperatives and inefficient financial management. Okay. Despite government intervention, private trade मतलब कौन लोग इसमें included? Money lenders, rural political elites, big merchants and rich farmers. These are the ones which dot the landscape of agricultural markets in India. And the quantity of agricultural products handled by the government agencies and the consumer cooperatives constitute only 10%, while the rest is handled by private sector. ये वाला private sector, right? Rich farmers, big merchants, political elite. So penetration नहीं हुआ है. Penetration of the rural banking system and the cooperatives has not happened to the extent to which it was expected. And rapid commercialization of agriculture in the era of globalization offers tremendous opportunities for value addition of agro based products जैसे fruit processing industry हो गई, right, या mega food parks हो गए, right? So the answer is D. Question number 9. Which of the following farmers markets are correctly matched? Apni Mandi Rajasthan, Hadapsar Mandi Mumbai, Raitu Bazaars MP, Uzawar Sandis Tamil Nadu. This type of factual. Now these are factual questions, but factual questions could also be tough. So this could be asked as a 2 marker, right? And because it is given in your 11th class NCRT, it becomes absolutely critical and important. Which of the following farmers markets are correctly matched with their location? Apni Mandi Rajasthan, Hadapsar Mandi Mumbai, Raitu Bazaars MP, Ujawar Sandis Tamil Nadu. Okay. So what do you think? This is something that you can solve by elimination. The Hadapsar Mandi is not in Mumbai, it is in Pune. And Raitu Bazaars are not found in MP, they are found in Andhra Pradesh, Telangana. Okay, so 2 and 3 are definitely incorrect. So what are you left with? 1 and 4. So there's only one option, A. Option A is the correct answer. Right? As you can see, Hadapsar Mandi is in Pune. Apni Mandi is found in Punjab, Haryana, and Rajasthan. Raitu Bazaars are vegetables and fruit markets in Andhra Pradesh. And Uzavar Sandis are the farmer markets in Tamil Nadu. Okay. So very, very important. Moving on. Question number 10. Which of the following statements are correct regarding the diversification with regards to agriculture? It implies diversification of workforce into allied activities and non-agricultural sector. Second, diversification becomes necessary in the long run to overcome poverty in rural areas. Third, in rural areas, only men are engaged in the non-farm employment. Right? So, which of these statements are correct regarding diversification with regards to agriculture? A, 1 and 3. B, none of the above. C, 1 and 2. D, all of the above. So, what's the correct answer? The answer is C, 1 and 2. Okay. डाइवर्सिफिकेशन ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर का क्या मतलब होता है, क्वेश्चन ये पूछ रहा है आपसे. सो डाइवर्सिफिकेशन ऑफ वर्कफोर्स, राइट. जैसे आप एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर की बात करते हो तो कल्टीवेशन एक सेक्टर है, राइट. आप कल्टीवेट करते हो. देन यू हैव हॉर्टिकल्चर ऑल्सो, राइट. देन यू हैव डेयरी ऑल्सो, राइट. देन यू हैव what you can say aquaculture, which is fishing, that also. You can also talk about silviculture, silk farming. You can also talk about piggery, pig farming. You can also talk about beekeeping, right? So these are all agricultural allied activities. So if there is diversification of workforce into allied activities and agricultural and non-agricultural sector, then it will lead to more diversification. And diversification becomes necessary in the long run to overcome poverty. अब इससे poverty कैसे जाएगी? If in one of the years monsoon doesn't perform and cultivation declines, or cultivation, अब cultivation हो ही नहीं रहा है, तो you can then diversify into other sectors like dairy, like piggery, like beekeeping, like silviculture. जिससे कि क्या होगा कि at least your incomes will also be diversified, the sources of your income will also be diversified, and as a result of that you will be able to overcome poverty in rural areas, right? Now the third statement, in rural areas only men are engaged in नॉन फार्म एम्प्लॉयमेंट, ऐसा नहीं है. नॉन फार्म एम्प्लॉयमेंट जैसे बी कीपिंग हो गया, डेयरी हो गया, यहाँ पे आप देखेंगे विमेन आर ऑल्सो एम्प्लॉयड, राइट. So this is a wrong statement. So 3 cannot be correct. So C is the correct answer, 1 and 2. So what you can do is, once the lecture is over, you can go through the lecture once again. You can pause the lecture at this instance, and if you want to take down the notes, you can take down the notes, right? But this is essentially what I have just told you. Question number 11. What does Tanwa stand for? See, now in RBI grade B, abbreviations are definitely asked in phase 1 and phase 2 both. Now, if you're talking about 11th class NCRT, उसमें directly दिया हुआ है. So what does Tanwa stand for? The Antyodaya Women's Association, Tamil Nadu Women in Agriculture, the Aurangabad and Nasik Water Association, the Apex National Women's Association. Why have I asked you? Because this is in your NCRTs. ऐसे randomly किसी भी चीज का एब्रीवेशन नहीं पूछेंगे, या तो करंट अफेयर्स में होना चाहिए या तो एनसीईआरटी में होना चाहिए, राइट. देयरफॉर टुडे आई एम कवरिंग वन चैप्टर ऑफ योर एनसीईआरटी. If you go through the entire lecture, most of the rural development chapter of your 11th class NCERT is covered. Okay. So what does Tanwa stand for? I'll give you another 10 seconds to answer. What do you think is the correct answer, boys and girls? Let's take a look at that. Option A, the Antyodaya Women's Association. Tamil Nadu Women in Agriculture. The Aurangabad and Nasik Water Association. The D, the Apex National Women's Association. What do you think is the correct answer? The correct answer is B, Tamil Nadu Women in Agriculture. Tamil Nadu Women in Agriculture is a project initiated in Tamil Nadu to train women in latest agricultural techniques. Okay. And all the other relevant and factual information is given here. So what you can do is you can definitely pause the lecture. Once the lecture is over, you can come back to the lecture and you can take out a few notes if you feel like. Moving on. Question number 12. Which of the following statements are true regarding animal husbandry in India? In India, the farming community uses the mixed crop livestock farming system. Second, livestock production provides increased stability in income, food security, transport, fuel and nutrition. Third, the livestock sector is dominated by men only. Fourth, cattle account for the largest share in livestock distribution in India. What do you think is the correct answer? Look at these statements carefully. You can come out with the right answer. In India, the farming community uses the mixed crop livestock farming system. Second, livestock production provides increased stability in income, food security, transport, fuel, and nutrition. Third, the livestock sector is dominated by men only. Fourth, cattle account for the largest share in livestock production in India. What do you think is the correct answer? A, B, C, and D. A, 1, 3, and 4. B, 1 and 2. C, none of the above. D, all of the above. The correct answer is B, 1 and 2. Let's take a look at all these options one by one. In India, the farming community uses mixed crop livestock farming system. Of course, yes. Mixed crop means what? Mixed crop means you are cultivating multiple crops, right? Mixed cropping हो रहा है एक ही piece of land पे. And livestock farming भी होता ही है हमारे यहाँ पे, right? Cattle and milch farming होता ही है, right? So this statement is correct. Second, livestock production ही provides stability in income. क्या stability income provide कर सकता है? हाँ, right? If you include dairy in that, then it will provide more income. क्या वो फूड सिक्योरिटी प्रोवाइड कर सकता है? ऑफ कोर्स पोल्ट्री गिव्स यू मीट, राइट? सो फूड सिक्योरिटी भी हो गया, योर प्रोटीन रिक्वायरमेंट इज टेकन केयर ऑफ, राइट, थ्रू मीट एंड एग्स. Then transport, of course, horses and all bullock carts can be used for transport. Fuel, your cow dung is a, important and a clean source of fuel. And nutrition also, right? Through eggs and dairy and honey you get a lot of nutrition, right? So 1 and 2 are correct. Now the third statement, the livestock sector is dominated by men only, incorrect, right? मैंने थोड़ी देर पहले ही आपको बताया था women are also a part of dairy cooperatives in India. Cattle account for the largest share in livestock distribution in India. That's incorrect, right? It is actually poultry which accounts for the largest share with 42%, followed by others. Okay, so moving on, question number 13. Operation Flood is associated with which of the following? Milk, fermented drinks, river water, and D, canned juice. It's a very easy question. Could be asked as a one marker in phase 1 and phase 2 both. Operation Flood is associated with which of the following? A, milk, B, fermented drinks, C, river water, D, canned juices. What do you think it is associated with? Operation Flood is associated with which of the following? Milk, fermented drinks, river water, canned juices. What do you think is the correct answer, boys and girls? Come on. I'll give you 10 seconds more. Please answer. What do you think it is associated with? Even common sense will help you answer this question. So the right answer is A, milk. Right? Operation Flood is associated with milk. Okay. It all started with the district Anand, right? You had Amul coming out of it. So here you're talking about dairy cooperatives where farmers came together, right? And they pooled in their resources, which led to Operation Flood. Question number 14. Which of the following statements are correct regarding fisheries in India? Statement number 1. The marine sector contributes about 49% to the total fish production and the balance comes from inland resources. Statement number 2. Among states, Kerala, Gujarat, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu are the major producers of marine products. Statement number 3. The fishing community is better off socio-economically when compared to other backward sectors of our economy. Statement number 4. Even though women are not involved in active fishing, about 60% of the workforce in export marketing and 40% in internal marketing are women. So which are this is a very difficult question, I understand. It will be asked as a 2 marker in phase 2. Options are A, none of the above, B, 1, 2 and 3, C, 2 and 4 and D, all of the above. What do you think is the correct answer? What do you think is the correct answer? I'll wait for 10 more seconds for you to give the correct answer. Option number A, none of the above. Option number B, 1, 2 and 3. Option number C, 2 and 4. Option number D, all of the above. What do you think is the correct answer? The correct answer is C. 1 is incorrect. The marine sector contributes 49% to the total fish production and the balance comes from inland resources is untrue. Presently, fish production from inland sources contributes 49% to the total fish production and 51% comes from the marine sector. So the figures were inverted. 2 is correct because among states, Kerala, Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Tamil Nadu are the major producers of marine products. Why? Because of a long coastline. Okay. 3 is incorrect. The overall socio-economic status of fishermen is comparatively lower than that of the backward sectors of our economy. Right? There is rampant underemployment, low per capita earnings, there is absence of mobility of labor to other sectors, and a high rate of illiteracy, right, and indebtedness. And these are some of the major problems faced by these communities. Okay. 4 is correct that even though women are not involved in active fishing, about 60% of the workforce in export marketing and 40% in internal marketing are women, right? So, moving on to the last question of the day. Which of the following statements are correct regarding horticulture in India? Statement number 1. Horticulture crops play a vital role in providing food and nutrition besides addressing employment concerns. Statement number 2. The period between 1991 2003 is also called an effort to heralding a golden revolution. Statement number 3. The horticulture sector is sustainable livelihood option, especially suited for women employment. So the options are A 1 and 3, B 1 and 2, C none of the above, D all of the above. What do you think is the correct answer? I'll wait for another 10 seconds for you to give the correct answer. What do you think is the correct answer, boys and girls? Statement number 1. Horticulture crops play a vital role in providing food and nutrition besides addressing employment concerns. Option number 2. The period between 1991 2003 is also called as an effort to heralding a golden revolution. Statement number 3. The horticulture sector is a sustainable livelihood option especially suited for women employment. So the options are A 1 and 3, B 1 and 2, C none of the above, D all of the above. What do you think are the correct is the correct answer? I'll wait for another 10 seconds for you to give the correct answer. A 1 and 3, B 1 and 2, C none of the above, D all of the above. So let's see what's the correct answer. The correct answer is D. That is all of the above. Horticulture, yes, it plays a very vital role in providing food and nutrition besides addressing employment concerns. This period between 1991 and 2003 is in fact called as a golden revolution period. And option number 3, the horticulture sector is a sustainable livelihood option. Why? Because horticulture sector में क्या क्या included है? Vegetables, right? Fruits and flowers. And this is something that you can cultivate the year round. So it is a sustainable livelihood option. Okay, which is suited for women employment as well. ठीक है? Because इसमें manual labor ज़्यादा नहीं लगता. ज़रूर लगता है, but ज़्यादा नहीं लगता. So with this, we have come to the end of our discussion on today's lecture. Today I could not interact with you much because of low internet speed, I could not get your answers. But I can see that a lot of you have answered. So my apologies. Next time I will ensure that I have better bandwidth so that I don't miss out on your responses as well. Right. So, the period between 1991 and 2003 is called an effort to heralding a golden revolution. Okay, because during this period, the planned investment in horticulture became highly productive and the sector emerged as a sustainable livelihood option. Exam में आपको पूछा जा सकता है कि golden revolution is associated with what? So the answer to that would be horticulture, right? So thank you for your patience and your cooperation, aspirants. We at Oliveboard are constantly endeavoring to help you crack RBI Grade B. In that, we have RBI Grade B Learn Pack, which focuses on Phase 1 and Phase 2. In Phase 1, you will get 10 full-length mock tests. For Phase 2, you'll get 20 full-length mock tests, apart from 60 sectional tests and 90 topic tests, right? You'll also get our Bolt magazine for Phase 1 general awareness and a monthly current affairs capsule, especially crafted for RBI Grade B, right? And you will have complete coverage of current affairs, union budget, survey, census, socio-economic caste census, and important reports. So as you can see, it's a very well curated course for you. And if you want to go for a complete package, then we have an RBI Grade B complete package. You can subscribe to that in the link description. Here you will get recorded classes on each chapter of ESI, finance and management, most of which we are taken by myself. Then you will have revision live classes. You will have exam strategy sessions, past year's exam analysis, live classes on descriptive English paper, which is highly crucial, right? So apart from whatever that you're getting in RBI Grade B Learn Pack, you're getting these things as extra in RBI Grade B Complete Package, right? You'll get detailed notes for each chapter, topic wise test, monthly current affairs, Bolt magazine, complete coverage of government schemes, and of course 10 full length mock tests, 20 full length mock tests for phase 2 as well, 60 sectional tests, 90 plus topic tests, right? So this is myself, Rohan Dange, signing off from oliveboard.com. Till the time we meet next, keep learning, happy revising, and keep practicing social distancing. Thank you.